And we are live. So
Yes.
hi everybody, and uh, thank you for joining us again for our second session with Anne. And I'm so excited that we did a very successful live last week on Thursday, and we got to talk about everything from the application process to the interview process. And I think Anne, you really shared with us very elaborate details on the application process, and you helped us get away take away some of the fears, and also encouraged a lot of people. From the feedback I have received amazing feedback on my email, and some of on the comment section of people sharing about, yeah, how they're encouraged to even just go forward and apply. So I think that's really encouraging. And today we are so happy to be back with another session. And today we really want to discuss and talk about the financial part of it, because this whole process has a financial implication. And actually, when you're doing your interview, you're going to be asked, are you able to bring this amount with you for your pocket money, and also to be able to buy food before you get paid your first salary? So that's very important for us. And again, remembering that if you're going to Japan, you have to take care of all your costs, take care of your visa processing, the documents you need to send to them where they process your COE, that's the certificate of eligibility, and also your travel. You need to take care of your airfares. And I'm so happy because Anne is here with us, because she's going to share with us how do you need to prepare yourself financially to be able to go to Japan. And actually, also, we'd also like to hear, if maybe I don't have the money and I'm going to borrow maybe from a friend or take a loan to be able to cater for that, the salary I'm getting paid, am I able to pay back? And am I able to save? And we all go to work abroad so that we can send some money back home and be able to invest. So Anne will be sharing with us from the few months she's been in Japan. Is it really worth it? Did she, make the right decision actually leaving Kenya and leaving her job in Kenya and going to work in Japan? So first of all, Anne, karibu sana. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you so much for having me again.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, Anne, to have you. And I'm so happy. And I know it's like 1 a.m. in Japan. So this is a
Yeah,
major sacrifice for you.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we are honestly very, very grateful. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, and so we're going to go straight and into the topic for today. And like I said, we're going to look at three things today. We're going to talk
yeah.
about the financial part, and also going to
Okay,
talk about the visa process. Probably look
okay.
at what do I need for the visa, uh, and also something, Anne, that I would like us to talk about. And because I've been getting this question a lot. Some
Yeah,
people keep asking, can I apply for a tourist visa and go to Japan and actually look for a job? That's something that people have asked, because I know with Canada you can do that, but
yeah.
then can you do that in Japan? Yeah. And also,
Okay.
yeah, so apart from the visa process, we're also going to talk about uh, probably your travel experience and how it was leaving from Kenya, going to Japan, and how much was a ticket. Because again, another question that comes up a lot is, where, first of all, do I need to buy a return ticket or just one ticket? And which airline can I use that's probably better? And then, of course, we really want to hear, is it worth it? Is it really worth it? And I mean, this is where really we want to count the cost and know, if I have a job that's paying me 100K in Kenya, is it worth it leaving and going to probably pursue this path? So, karibu sana, and so let's talk about the financial preparation part. Now, I know Interact says you have to have 250,000 to be able to do
Yeah,
what?
to
Yes,
be able
so
to survive.
that's right. So let's start there.
Okay. It's very interesting though, but for the finances, I would just say it's purely depend on a person because there's
Mhm.
a someone who can survive with 250 and there's someone who cannot survive with that amount of money. So for Interact, they normally say you need 250, and that
Mhm.
is amount that is for your survival purely, just survival. There's no the
Yes.
startup cost for your housing. That means actually they normally ask if you can have around 500,000 yen.
Mhm.
If you have 500,000 yen, that means you can be able to take care of your startup cost, the housing part, and then you can be able to survive. with the 250 because they can offer you a loan of 250 yen to cater for your
Mm-hmm.
startup cost. So that's what I did. So the other
Okay.
thing for the cost, I would say basically I'll give my experience because that is what I did. Number one,
Mm-hmm.
cost is very different because for me, I used to work in a place I used to wear jeans. I used to wear things that
Mm-hmm.
were not official. But when you're
Oh,
coming to, yeah. So I had to buy a whole wardrobe of clothes before I left
yeah,
Kenya. And the cost of
that's true.
buying one suit is like 6,000 Kenyan shillings, a cheaper person. So you get someone who can do it for you who can do it the suit for around 8,000 shillings. There's 10,000, there's 12,000 Kenyan shillings. So it depends.
Yeah.
So number one, the cost that you did depends on a lot. Like, do you have enough clothing? Like, do you have some good clothes? Basically, because you can go
Mm-hmm.
to Gikomba and get some nice suits, but you still
Yeah.
need one or two or three that you can go to an occasion in school and look representable and all that. So
Yeah.
number one, you have, like, if you're like me, you have to cater for the cost of buying official clothes if you do not have official clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So that is out of the 250.
Yeah.
Then the 250 for me, I had like 300,000 before I left Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
And my ticket was around 124,000 Kenyan shillings.
Uh-huh.
So that was my ticket. My
Yeah.
friend who was going to a different part of Japan the same week, because I was supposed to arrive in Japan on 16th, she was supposed to
Mm-hmm.
arrive in Japan on 19th, but she was going to a whole different airport. She paid around 86,000 Kenyan shillings.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it also
Wait, is it
depends.
the same airline?
Yeah, the same airline, different ports of entry. So it just depends on
Wow.
which airport you're going to. For me, I
Yeah.
was
Was it,
usually
which airline was it?
canceling. I used the Ethiopian airline because
Oh,
it's
okay.
cheaper. Of all the airlines, Ethiopian Airlines was the cheapest.
Yes.
And so you can always, there's Qatar Airways, you can always use the Emirates, there's so many airlines that you can use and are
Mhm.
comfortable. But again, for me, I used the Ethiopian Airlines because it was the cheapest for me. And the services were
Mhm.
still good. I literally enjoyed it, apart from serving me rice all the time. So I did not like the rice.
All right.
Rice for
Okay.
dinner, rice for breakfast, rice for everything is was rice and chicken. So I was literally fed up with rice and chicken by the time I got to Japan. And then you see, like the flight is like 2 days. So yeah, it's a lot of rice and chicken. Apart from the rice and chicken, the rest of it was okay. But which is purely on me because I have allergies with beef. So they have options like you can take rice and chicken, you can take beef. So the
Hmm.
problem is also with me because I cannot take beef. So yeah, I
Oh.
hate the rice and chicken too many times. So for the finances, so apart from the airline, the ticket I paid for my
Mhm.
flight, which was one way, it was one
Yeah.
way because I was coming with a COE. That means I was already coming for a job, and I already had a visa that was
Mhm.
saying instructor's visa. So I was coming for a job, and on
Yeah.
the visa it indicates the time that you're supposed to be in Japan. So you practically
Mhm.
don't need a return ticket if you're coming
Yes.
if you're coming for work in Japan. You don't need a return
Mhm.
ticket.
Okay.
So on the part you're asking about a visitor's visa, Japan is a little bit tricky and strict. They follow rules.
Mhm.
In Japan, there's a system for everything. System basically for everything. Trains,
Yeah.
work, the way you're supposed to do your stuff. So I don't think it would be advisable for you to use a visitor's visa to come to Japan and look for a job. I'd
Mhm.
advise someone because the jobs are already there. Why don't you just apply the jobs from where you are? There are companies that are hiring people overseas all the time. We have
Yeah.
GABA, we have Interact, we have Joy. There was there was
There's
GABA,
heart.
there's Interact, we
There's
have Jet.
yes.
Yes, there's
We
so
have
many.
heart,
So why don't you
and yeah,
apply?
there's so many programs. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Sorry, Anne.
for
Sorry,
me,
I
my
was
only
saying there
advice I
was.
would give someone,
Mhm. Oh yes, yes.
the
Go
only
carry
advice
on.
is okay. Yes, the only advice I'll give someone, you have companies that can hire you from where you are. There are actually even
Mhm.
people who have been hired from Gaijin Port. The Gaijin Port is a site that you can apply for jobs in Japan. I know a friend of mine who came through Gaijin Port to Japan. She's from Zimbabwe. I also know another person who
Mhm.
They got a reference, yes, but they also applied the job from Gaijin Port. So sometimes
Wow.
Gaijin Port can be a 50-50 deal, but you can always try. Or you can just look for a company, then you get over here because, as you said the last time, the process is easy, but you have to follow every step.
Mm-hmm.
But you can do that. You don't need to come with a visitor's visa. So when you go back to the finances part, I'll say the 124 from the 300,000 I had before I left Nairobi. So I
Mm-hmm.
had the 124, which now is already subtracted for the amount.
Yeah.
And remember, you're in transit for 2 days. You're gonna need to buy water, you're gonna need to buy food, you're gonna need to buy stuff that you'll be using to travel. So also
Mm-hmm.
that cost is still in the same amount.
Mm-hmm.
So let me say by the time I was getting to Japan, I had around 150,000 Kenyan shillings.
Wow.
By the time, because again, when you get to Japan, the company pays for your hotel,
Mm-hmm.
but you pay for your transport. They're going to reimburse you the transport cost, yes, but you pay for it
Mm-hmm.
first. That means
Okay.
if you're supposed to go for training from point A to point B, you're supposed to pay for it. And as you can tell, a train for 7 minutes will be like 230 yen.
Yeah, that's right.
So number one, the value of money, the money we use back home and here it's very different. 1,000 yen is not a lot of money here because
Mm-hmm.
like right now, today I went to Kobe yesterday, and from Osaka to Kobe, from where I live to Kobe is close to an hour, but I
Mm-hmm.
paid close to almost 1,000 yen just for an hour, and it's a train ticket, just that.
Wow.
So number one, you have to put in mind as you're using that money, the value is very different. Transport is
Mm-hmm.
expensive. The other thing, the hotel provides for your breakfast. And if you're like me, you have a challenge with food, the breakfast will not be easy for you to take because, yeah, it's different. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I had a whole challenge with food. So it was like the breakfast, I only went to down to take coffee and then went back to my room. So that means
Oh.
you're going to need food. And then it's normally cold during spring because it's just after winter. So it's way
Oh,
cold.
yes.
Because
Mm-hmm.
the day I landed, it was like around 10 degrees Celsius. So you literally need to keep yourself warm. So you need some warm food. You need some warm soups. That means you're gonna go eat outside. So and a plate of ramen is around 850 to 900. That's a normal
Yeah.
cost. So that means if you wanna get a good plate of food, it will be around 1100 yen, 1200 yen, that kind of a rough amount. Up to all
Mm-hmm.
the way to 2,500 if you're in a decent meal or in a decent hotel. So at the end of the day, the cost is different. So that's why I'm saying it's relative. If you're Kenyan and you're wise, or if you don't have enough money, you don't have to live like that. You can
Mm-hmm.
always go get a bowl of ramen,
Yeah.
the instant ones. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's less than 200 yen. So
Mm-hmm.
get an instant ramen bowl, then go get some hot water from your hotel. That's all you need to prepare. That is enough dinner for you. I remember you giving me
Okay.
these hacks before I got here. So it is still depends on the person. And
Yeah,
practically,
that's
it
right.
depends on you. It depends if you want to be comfortable or if you want to survive to be able to get to the next place. So you can take
Yeah.
an instant noodles for ramen noodles for like I think 200 yen, but you can also go and
Mm-hmm.
get a bowl of ramen for around 950 or 1,000 yen. So it is purely depends on you. Just depends on whatever that you want to do. And then from my experience when I got here, because we did not have placement yet, we didn't have our housing, of
Mm-hmm.
which interact is very different from branch to branch.
Yeah.
My friend had her housing before her placement. I had my placement
Mm.
before my housing.
Oh, wow.
So
How did you
the
survive?
branches are
Where did you
where
live?
I lived in a shared house, which was very fun, by the way. So I
Oh.
lived in a shared house. Yes, we are like, I think almost 20 people. So it was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to learn a bit of Japanese. I got to learn about Japanese meals. I got to learn about Filipino meals. So it was way fun.
Mm.
And yes, I got to learn how to explore. If I needed something that was very helpful. So because you're not in your apartment, the company does not offer you the loan at that point, according to my experience. That is my own experience.
Okay.
So I'm not saying
Mm-hmm.
it applies to every branch. I'm not saying it applies to everyone. But in my experience, because I lived in a shared house, they did not give me the loan for my house, the startup cost for my housing at that particular point. So which worked for me because you're supposed to cater for the rent of that shared apartment. So you cater for the deposit, which was like
Mm-hmm.
around 20,000 yen. Then you're supposed to cater for the rent, you're supposed to cater for the monthly rent and utilities and a few other things. I think the whole amount was around 83,000 yen, 86,000 yen. So
Oh,
if you
wow.
minus that amount from the
Mm-hmm.
amount, the 150, now you see how much we have. We have
Oh.
close to, that is less. So that I'm how I'm saying, but you can buy rice, which is like 5 kgs is around 2,000 yen.
Mm-hmm.
So if you buy rice, you buy instant noodles, you can always survive. That means it basically depends on who you are, what you want to eat, what you want to do, where you
Yeah.
want to go. If you limit your movement from visiting places at that particular month, you can survive. And then remember, you're starting work on March. And then March,
Mm-hmm.
they don't pay the salary for March because you have not started
Yeah.
school yet. They just pay you
Mm-hmm.
for the days you'll be going for training, which are like 5 days. So
Mm-hmm.
once you land in Japan, you go to a hotel. So you stay in that hotel for 5 days because you'll be
Mm-hmm.
doing your physical training. That's when you do the one-on-one or you can do the Zoom training. So
Okay.
that means for those 5 days, the place you're living will be, the hotel will be paid for. They'll offer you breakfast, but you have to cater for your lunch and any other meal apart from the
Mm-hmm.
breakfast. After that, you can either go to your house or they can either send you to a place that you can live before you get your placement, depending on the branch that you are in.
Okay.
Now, at that particular point, you're still taking care of yourself. Remember, you
Mm-hmm.
don't have
Yeah.
salary yet. That is still on March. And then they give you an allowance of like 2 weeks to go to the city hall because you need to register your address, you need to apply for my number card, you need to do a lot of paperwork. When you get to
Mm-hmm.
Japan, we tell you about that. We don't want to scare you about the paperwork. It's a lot of paperwork.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So there's paperwork that you need, let's just say the paperwork right now. There's paperwork that you need to do for them to
Yeah.
know you're there, you're living there. So they give you like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That depends. If you're okay with staying indoors for those 2 weeks, then you'd be able to spend too much because you'd be moving from one place to another. But if you
Yeah.
want to go and visit places, you're still free. You can go and visit anywhere that you want. So if you're going
Mm-hmm.
to visit places, that means you need extra money. So it just depends on how you want to spend.
Yeah.
Because now the salary comes in on May 20th.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Wow.
they pay on every 20th. So that means
Mm-hmm.
you came to Japan on March. So there's March, like I landed on March 16th. So there's
Yeah.
the whole of March, the whole of the half of March, the whole of
Mm-hmm.
April, and May up to around 20th. So it's
Wow.
2 months plus. That's already 2 months, 10 days, 2 months, 6 days around that.
Mm-hmm.
So that means
Yeah.
for 2 months and 10 days, you have not earned a single shilling. You don't have any
Wow.
money with you that you have
Mm-hmm.
earned on your bank account. That means
Yeah.
you're still depending on the money you brought from home. And remember this, for your transport, they do reimburse, yes. But again, it was going to be reimbursed with your salary. So that means
Mm-hmm.
for your training, it will be paid with your salary. So that means you have not, and yes, you have been working and you have your salary and they're going to pay you for all those things, but it will come on 20th of May.
Wow.
So you have to be
Mm-hmm.
wise on how you're spending your money in those 2 months, 10 days, approximately 2 months, 10 days.
Yeah.
So it just depends on a person. If you're smart, if you're street smart, you can survive easily. If you're not street smart and
Yeah.
if you're used to maybe spending more and you wanna live a good life, then you need
Mm-hmm.
some more money. But for
Oh,
me, that's
yeah.
how I survived. And I managed and until my first salary. Again,
Mm-hmm.
if you're asking about, remember that is the 300,000 I had when I was living, and now
Yeah.
the money is gone. So
Which
that
you
money,
actually paid, half of it you paid for your airfare,
yeah,
right? And then the
yeah.
rest is what you're
The
actually
rest
using
was,
to survive for the 2 months.
yeah, the rest was, and it was survival. It was basically the basic needs. For me, it was just purely
Mm-hmm.
basic. There was no anything extra. It was just purely basic needs.
Yeah.
So that means you can see like it's really strenuous for you at that particular moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then remember, you still don't have the housing, the startup fee for your house. So when you get to your house, they're gonna give you a startup fee. And normally it will always range between 220,000 yen to around
Yeah.
250,000 yen. It's always around that
Wow.
amount.
Mm-hmm.
Always. It doesn't go above that, and most of the time it do not go below that. So if you
Okay.
have the money, you can always pay for yourself. That means you won't owe the company anything. But if you don't
Mm-hmm.
have the money, the company can always give you a loan. And the interest is like 2%. The interest is not a lot. So the
Okay.
interest is 2% per annum. And then
Oh,
for that,
okay.
for that loan, it's normally paid within the first year. The
Okay. So
first
it's
year.
distributed.
Yeah, it's distributed in the first year. So it depends if you start paying your loan by probably by May. If they give you a
Mm-hmm.
housing, you need to go to Japan. If you start paying by May, that means you're gonna pay for a couple of months. If you start paying
Yeah.
on August, you're gonna pay for the 7 months. So it just depends the timeline. So you can,
Okay.
depending on when you get your housing, that means it can be different. You can be paying 40,000 yen, you can be paying 25,000
Yeah.
yen per month, depending on when you start.
Okay.
So that's a different thing
Wow.
about the
Oh my
finances. So
gosh.
if
Yeah.
you if you if you someone okay, normally in Kenya, saving up to 300,000 is a lot for someone,
Yeah.
especially the jobs, because you also know the jobs that the amount of money they normally pay us. So
Mm,
basically saving for 300,000 is a lot. You're gonna
yeah.
need support from someone.
That's true.
Most of
Actually,
the
that's why I actually wanted to ask you,
yeah,
the fact that when you go to Japan, and actually they make that clear for you before you come, you're
yeah,
going to be paid at the end of the second month.
yeah,
Like your first salary will come at the end of the second month. But this is just for the time you go. The other times, it would now, from there, it
yeah,
becomes every other month on the 20th.
yeah,
But so if I have borrowed the 250 that they asked me to bring as pocket money,
yeah,
and then I get paid towards the end of the second month, because yeah, as you
yeah,
say, it's hard to have that money. If I
yeah,
get paid towards the end of second month,
yeah,
am I able? So that will be like the double the months, right? That's so
yeah.
am I able to pay back the loan that I borrowed? Am I able to? Is that money enough to pay back the 250 I borrowed to live in Kenya?
Again, from my experience, not
Mm-hmm.
it will- it is difficult because number one, this person you take money from, please explain to them that you cannot be able to give them back their money immediately on April, or because most people will be expecting you to give the money on April. And the
Mm-hmm.
challenge is sending
Yeah.
money back home, even when you have the money, it's difficult if you don't have my number card.
Oh yes,
And I know
that's right.
people who don't have my number card. I have a friend I normally do transactions for because she cannot send money directly because her my number card
Mm-hmm.
still has issues here and there. So
Yeah.
number one of the things I really went through, and it was really hard for me. I'm in
Mm-hmm.
Chamas up to now.
Yeah.
And yeah, Chama women, Chama women.
Yeah.
Chama says me a big deal. So I'm a Chama
Okay.
person ever. So
Okay.
I'm in Chamas. And I
Yeah.
remember that when I was coming to Japan, I could not be able to pay for my chamas. So I asked someone, please, can you be able to take care of my chamas for me?
Mm.
Then the time I was supposed to send her the money on that 20th, I remember I got my money very, very early. I talked to a friend of mine, a Kenyan friend who lives in Tokyo. I
Yeah.
transferred the money to her bank account. She was supposed to send the
Mm-hmm.
money to my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And as usual, their financial transactions are done online. So it was
Yes.
a whole challenge for her to send the money, and the money took days. Actually, it did
Oh,
not go
wow.
through. She had to refund the money, which now takes extra days. And then she had also now
Mm.
to ask the fiance to send the money for me because now the days have pushed. It is now, I think
Oh,
it was now almost 10 days after when my friend was getting the money. And it wasn't easy for her
my God.
because she
Wait,
was
which
expecting
app
the
was
money.
she using to send the money?
She was using the word remit. That was what she was using.
Oh, I'm surprised because I use Wild Remit and Wise, and it takes
It
like
was They were asking
minutes.
for some updates, and then the problem was
Okay.
updates. They ask you to update my number card, they ask you to update something else, and then it takes a lot of
Yeah.
time because the updates
Mhm.
keep coming. You do this, an email comes way later on, you do this. So that's why
Okay.
then she had to cancel the whole transaction. And then now
Oh,
canceling for them to refund the money to your account. It's another
yeah.
now whole process. So number one, the person you're getting money from, be very honest with them. Tell
Yes.
them I'll get my salary on May 20th, and I may not even be able to send you money if I may not have the right card for me to send the financial transactions online. Because
Mm.
even though you are
Yeah.
going to use Western Union, like right now I use Western Union,
Mm-hmm.
but they still ask for my number card. If you're using Wise, because Wise
Mm.
is also very convenient, they still need your my number card. Or but I saw for
Yes.
Wise you can use the residence card or my number card. But most of the
Mm.
times, if there's any financial transaction, gonna ask for my number card. Oh, my number card. Sorry, I know you're getting people lost. My number card is
Yeah.
the KRA pin, yeah, Kenya. The
Yes.
KRA pin. So it's the
Yeah.
same thing basically.
Mm.
So be very honest with them. You will not be able to send them money. And
Yeah.
then again, you'll be coming from a place, do your maths very well. You'll be coming from a place that you have not had finances at all. And things can go
Mm.
wrong. You can get here, you find out the money that you had is not enough for your survival.
Yes.
So you need some extra money. So that
Mm.
means you have now to budget and how do you start paying this person this amount of money. And then
Yeah.
again, put in mind the startup cost of your housing will still be counted. Japan is
Yes.
good because like the first 2 months they don't charge you your rent when you get
Yeah.
to an apartment. So you have
Mm-hmm.
like 2 months. So you can be able to pay the person back home the amount of money that you owe them.
Yeah. That's
You
right.
can be able to you can be able to budget yourself. You can even be able to pay someone 30,000 Kenyan shillings per month. You can do that if you want to do that.
Mm.
That's what I did. I made sure the first few months once I got my salary, I was paying back the person who I owed money. And for
Okay.
me, I was lucky enough. It was my mom, so there's no pressure. She actually
Mm.
told me,
Oh,
whatever you want to do, do. But I told her, Mom, no, you're not going to start a relationship like this. I like to pay you back your money.
yeah.
That
Mm.
means I have to honor that because I have other siblings who might want to live. If I empty her bank account, what are they going to use?
Yeah.
So you
That's
have
true.
to be. So for me, she's patient with me. So you might not get someone who's
Mm.
very patient with you. That's why I'm saying be very honest with them. From the word go,
Yes.
be very honest.
Yeah.
So for the first few months before you start getting your deductions, you can always be able
Mm.
to send money back home. The challenge comes
Yeah.
in now when they're deducting you alone. Let's Interact normally pays 216 the first year. It's public, it's everywhere on their website. It's not like a
Yeah.
secret. So
Mm.
it's normally 216. 216 deduct your, I think you have the health insurance, you have the
Mm-hmm.
pension, you have the taxes.
Yes.
So if you do all those deductions, probably you'll have around 170 something thousand yen
Yeah.
in your bank account. So if you have 170 something thousand, or let's say 177, let's just approximate
Mm.
177,000 yen in your bank account.
Yeah.
Do you do the math? How much do you need for your survival? Because the first
Mm-hmm.
month you're not paying your rent. That means you can say
Yes.
I'm gonna use 70,000 for my survival, for my food, for my transportation, and all that. That means you have a
Mm-hmm.
100,000. So at that particular moment, if you want to reduce the amount of money you owe someone, you can do that.
Yeah.
But if you have a
Mm.
different agreement, you do what works for you.
Yeah.
But
That's
those
right.
are they're very close to other actual figures. So it just depends on how you're gonna do. So if you're wise and you owe someone money, that's the time to reduce the burden that you have. Because like
Yes.
now
That's
you have like 2 months that you can easily survive. And because I believe we're Kenyans, we can survive in a lot in streets. We are strong
yes.
people. So it's wise for you to, my advice would be reduce the road as much as possible.
Yeah. That's
But
true.
again, but again, if you have siblings you are supporting, you have people you are taking care of, you might not be
Yeah.
able to like offset a very huge part of the amount. So it's still gonna
Mm.
be you still need to be patient with yourself. So be very honest with the
Yeah.
person you're owing money. So that comes in the first month and the second month, you can be able to
Yeah.
offset the loan a bit.
Yeah.
The challenge
That's
comes
true.
in the third month. Third month, they will start deducting your rent
Yes.
and you alone.
Mm-hmm.
So from the 177, let's
Yeah.
probably say your rent is around 60,000 yen per month.
Yeah.
And maybe you're paying 35,000 yen for the loan that you took. So this is now
Mm-hmm.
95.
Yeah.
So from the 177, now subtract 95.
Wow.
If you subtract
Yeah,
the
that's really,
95, if you
yeah.
subtract the 95, it means you have close to around 83,000 yen.
Mm-hmm.
So from your 83,000 yen, remember they have already reimbursed your transport is not in the salary. So the transport
Yes.
is always, so you can use, if you're going to one school, if you're going to a very regular place, that means you can always use that amount because the trains are always constant. They're always,
Mm.
the transportation fee is always very constant in Japan. So you can use
Yeah.
that amount for your transportation. That means you can depend on these 83,000 yen. So
Mm-hmm.
it depends on how you wanna budget for yourself. If you can still
Yeah.
pay a little, but if it's the person you owe the money to, but you still need money to survive, and maybe if you're taking care of people, it's still a challenge. That's why we are saying we are giving you this information at hand so that you can be honest with the people who are helping you, so that you don't get
Yes.
disappointed and think you're running away with your money and you're not trying.
Yeah.
But let it not scare you because it's just the first year. It's just the
Yeah.
first year or the first couple of months.
Mm.
Once you're done with that, you have your whole
Yes.
amount. And they also give you
Yeah.
they also add you money once you're done with your first contract.
Oh, that's good. Actually, I wanted to ask you there, and
Yeah.
because you said you get 216, so but
Mhm.
that's they have that is that including the transport or on
Mhm.
top of the 216
No,
the 216K the transport is added on top of that.
it's the transport is always added on top of that because in Japan, as you know,
Okay.
it's a rule
Yeah.
for companies to pay for transportation either from 70% to 100%. So
Yeah.
if they interact, they pay 100%.
Oh, that's good.
So So yes, they pay 100%. So for your
Yeah.
transportation, it will always be added to the salary.
Yeah.
So transportation, if you're
Okay.
smart, you can always plan your transportation from whatever you used the previous month. Whatever they give you, you just
Yes.
put it for transportation. So
Okay.
it just depends
Oh,
on a
that's
person.
good. I
Yeah.
think that's really good to know that, and because you know what, I think as you said, first of all, when you get to Japan, there's gonna be a lot of paperwork involved. Okay, first of all, there'll be paperwork involved in your application, and when you get
Yeah.
there, you still need to apply for all these things. And you know what, guys, it's everywhere. With immigration, you have to deal with the same things with my application personally here in Canada, and well, I have had to do a lot of that as well. You know, because
But
I'm just
the
settling
immigration
in.
in Japan, sorry, the
Okay.
immigration in Japan is very smooth. From
Yes.
immigration to customs, it took me less than 30 minutes. The immigration
Oh,
in
that's
Japan,
nice.
it's easy. Even for my friend who was coming to Japan, actually she got here
Yeah.
like yesterday. It was very
Oh,
smooth for her as well.
yeah. Oh, that's
So
nice to hear, Mona. Hi, Mona.
yeah,
Welcome to Japan.
hi Mona,
I
welcome
hope
to
you're going to.
Japan.
Yes, I
Mona,
hope she's going to come
konnichiwa,
soon.
konnichiwa.
Yeah, I hope she'll also come soon to this live and also share her experience.
I can wait for her to
And
come and
how
share
it
the
is
experience she has
living in
had.
Tokyo. I know
Yeah,
Tokyo is so busy, but yeah, we
yeah.
shall will. Now let's see
Actually,
some few questions here for you, Anne.
yeah.
Um, so I see, hi, Kate. Thank you for joining us. And then we have Lucy.
Mhm.
Thank you for coming to support us. And also we have, thank you, Anne, another Anne, and Nemo, and oh, Elizabeth, thank you so much. And let's see now, Anne is asking, hi, Anne
Yeah.
and Shiro.
Mhm.
Mimi nimefanya diploma ya education
Mhm.
and literature. Nikienda hizo sites, I am getting that it's quite hard. I am also doing TESOL. What can you advise
Mhm.
me? So Anne has a diploma, and I know last week we discussed about the qualifications, and she has a
Yeah.
diploma in education and English literature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you answer that actually.
So for Japan, I think they normally say you need a degree for you to be able to become a teacher over here. So that is not just to discourage you because those are the
Yeah,
qualifications they normally have. But again, I don't know about the online platforms, they still need the same requirements. I'm not sure. Joy, you can assist on that.
or diploma.
So
Okay, so
diploma
I
in
think
Japan is a challenge.
Yeah, I think it's a challenge because mostly the requirement
Yeah.
is yeah, the requirement would be a degree for sure.
Yeah.
That's one thing they insist on. So I
Mm-hmm.
haven't come across any companies that say you can
Mm-hmm.
apply with your diploma. But I would
Mm-hmm.
say this: since you have a diploma in English, why don't you
Yeah.
go to Gaijin Port,
Yeah.
and try and try to apply to the individual schools
Yeah.
because you have a diploma in English. So I would say you probably try that. And
Yeah.
also, you know what? It doesn't hurt to try these other companies and just send your diploma and your TESOL. You never
Mm-hmm.
know. Yeah, so that means I know those are the requirements, but guys, it doesn't hurt to try that, right? So the best
Mm-hmm.
thing to do is you can go ahead and try. And then Pamela is saying, my passport is out and my TEFL certificate is ready. So I will be applying from last week. Oh, you've been applying. Oh, that's good.
Ooh,
Go for
wow.
it.
Go girl.
Congratulations. And then, where can I get online teaching jobs as we wait to come to Japan? So for online teaching jobs, I would say try Italki or Italki, that one. So try. I personally, when I was in Japan, I did a side
Yeah.
hustle with Italki, and
Uh-huh.
it was good because you know what? I picked the hours after work, so
Yeah.
nighttime. So I would
Yeah.
teach between 10 p.m. to around 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So that really worked for me, and it kind of just helped me. So you go try Italki because I know
I
it's
think
free
I'm
to
also
teach
gonna
them.
apply for it.
Yeah, please do. And you know what? I was teaching Kiswahili. So mostly my students, I did teach Kiswahili. I have no experience teaching Kiswahili, but you know what?
Yeah.
They allow you to, those people who are looking for someone to really have a conversation with. It's good.
But
And then,
Swahili is very easy with Japanese because like Swahili and
yeah,
Japanese are the same names. You go and
that's
see
right.
you go and see Wakamoto. It's a name of a place. Today I was in
Yeah,
Kobe. Kobe is a place, but in Kenya, Kobe is a tortoise. So it's
that's
basically
right.
the same thing.
Yes, that's very true. Actually, you find a lot of Japanese words that have similarity. Now,
Yeah.
let's go
Mhm.
and talk about a little bit about the visa process. And you've really helped us elaborate and really be able to really look at this issue of finances because,
Yeah.
guys, I think it's very important because these are things that people don't tell you. Then you get to Japan, unapigwa
Yeah.
na butua. So
It's a
I'm so happy you shared that. And
culture
now
shock.
the next part we'll be looking at, is it worth it? I think we really want to hear that, Anne, for you
Okay.
personally and your personal experience with the money you had to borrow to travel, and how life has been there for you, how the job is. We really want to hear how it is, but maybe you can take about 2 minutes and tell us a little bit about what the visa process entails and how much it
Yeah.
costs as well, because that's part of the finances.
Okay. For the financial that you need when you're in Kenya, before you get to Japan or before you get to the whole ticket and any other thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
so you need I used around 5,432 shillings to send the documents that I needed from Kenya to Tokyo with DHL.
Mm-hmm.
So they
Oh,
normally ask you to send with a transport company that you can be able to track. So there's so many
yes.
of them. You can use DHL, you can use FedEx, you can use, there's so many, it just depends with whatever that you can track. But for DHL
Mm-hmm.
worked for me, so I sent it with DHL. So that's the amount of money I needed. And then I needed 3,050 to apply for my visa. And for
Okay.
the visa, you go with cash money.
Yeah.
Don't go. And normally you normally pay the money during visa collection.
Yeah.
For the application, you go in the morning. Right now, they told me you
Mm-hmm.
can just walk in. So you go in the morning when you're going to apply
Yeah.
for your visa. Make sure you're going before 1 o'clock. But
Mm-hmm.
for the collection, you go after 1 o'clock from 2 p.m. and blah, blah, blah. It takes 4 days. It's very quick. Just 4 days, your visa is out.
That's right.
Once you have
Yeah.
received your certificate of eligibility. So the
Yes.
easiest part with Japan is because they normally do the whole application for you from Japan. So they normally
Mm-hmm.
send you a COV, certificate of eligibility. You just take that to the
Yeah.
embassy and exchange it for your visa.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're going to apply for your visa, you need your certificate of eligibility, your offer
Yes.
letter. You need that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also need your passport should have like more than 2 pages that are not used. So you also
Yeah,
need to take your passport, and you also need 3,050 shillings, Kenyan shillings. So in form of
yeah,
cash, which you
that's
normally
true.
pay maybe when you're correct, so you don't need it on the day of application. But for when you're going to
Mm-hmm.
apply, you need that. And then you need passport. There's a picture that you normally take,
Yes.
and they normally send you measurements. You have to have
Mm-hmm.
it's very different from you remember the last time we talked about the passport for the COE application, the one you normally send to Tokyo or to wherever they're
Yes,
going to tell you
that's
to
true.
send it. Now there's a
Yes.
different one for your visa, and it's very big. For the
Mm-hmm.
visa,
Oh,
it's big, like literally it's very big. I don't even
okay.
can see. It's very huge. So you need they normally give you
Mm-hmm.
the measurements, so you also need to observe that. Then you have a form you need to fill. So you need your passport to have the form filled up. Then you need your passport, and that's all that you need when and then the COE. So
Yeah.
that's all you need the 4 things when you're going to apply for your visa.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
during collection is when you go with the 3,050.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you go for when you're going for collection. And it normally takes
Oh,
like
that's
4 days. It's pretty quick.
so yeah, that's pretty quick. I think that's
Yeah,
actually, actually what I say, once you're done with your application and everything, and then they send you, because they have to send you a certificate of eligibility, a physical copy that you go with it. So there's no way you can be denied visa. So you need not worry so much
yeah.
about the visa process because it's
No,
straightforward. But what you need to know is if the Japan visa office
it's
is in
very,
Upper Hill. So if you're not in Nairobi, you have to travel all the way to come
yeah,
to Upper Hill. Now, let's talk about the last
yeah, you
bit
have to
of
come
this.
from.
I'm like, where did the time go to look? It's almost like 10 minutes to, yeah. But so, and like, be really honest. Is this whole process
Yeah,
worth it? I mean, from the salary that you paid in
for
Japan
me,
and the cost of living, and some of us are looking to save and invest back home. And like you said, some of us have
yeah,
also siblings who we are supporting either through school, or we have parents that we have to take care of. So please help us understand, is this coming to Japan really worth it for the cost of living, which is so different from Kenya, and
yeah.
the salary?
For me, it's 100% worth it. I'll do it again, over and over again. Because a
Mm-hmm.
teaching job here, you can get 216. And then you know the Kenyan shilling and the yen is they almost like very close. So you can
That's
get the
right.
216 is around 220,000 Kenyan shillings.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even high school, it's not even a high school principal, you're getting more money. So at the end of
That's
the
it.
day, the cost of living is higher than Kenya. But what I would say
Yes.
is the cost of living, as long as you pay your rent, you pay your food, the rest of it is up to you.
Mm,
The other thing, I
yeah.
have done things I could never been able to do when I was in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
So what
Wow.
I would advise someone, what I would advise someone is don't look at the first year. The first year you're gonna be paying a lot of debts. That means the
Yeah.
savings gonna be really minimal.
Mm,
But as you said, you can always look for a side as a side hustle. That means you can always you can always look for a part-time job and make some extra cash
yeah,
for you to
that's
be
right.
able to survive and save and maybe do other stuff. So at the end of the day, for me, it's 100% worth it. And again, it also
Mm-hmm.
adds a lot of value to your CV, a lot of
Yeah.
value. Because right now, the same way I left Nairobi, and right now it's very different. If today I'm gonna
Yeah.
present my papers to someone, I'll probably say, I've even taught in Japan. So
Mm-hmm.
it's 100% worth it for me. And I'll
Yes.
do again and again and again. Because even the choices you have back home, they're still very minimal. You have
Yeah.
people who have degrees, but you can't even get a job
Yeah, that's right.
because there are no jobs. You have people you graduated with, like my whole class, the people we graduated with. I still
Mm,
see people talking about the way the TSC, they're not TSC jobs. I remember going for TSC
mm,
recruitments and I was like, oh,
mm.
there's a person with 90 marks and I'm at 60, not gonna work.
Wow.
So I remember
Wow.
working for a TSC recruitment. in a CSC recruitment center and you get, oh, I'm not gonna get this job. You see the people in the
Oh,
90 months around like five people, so those are the people who will be competing, and I have
mm,
no luck in this.
yeah,
So it's worth it. And again, I normally say look at the big don't look at the bigger picture. There are private schools that are
yes,
paying very well. They're paying very well.
that's, yep,
The point is the company you can use can be a stepping stool for you. Just depends on
mm-hmm,
how I see it. You need to come to Japan, and for you to get a job in Japan when you are in
yes,
Kenya, it may be a little bit difficult. But if you
mm,
come through a company, you can come and work and land here easily. Then once you
yeah,
get here, look for the jobs that you want to do. The other
that's
thing,
right,
even though you have a different degree, you don't want to do teaching. I'll tell
mm-hmm,
someone teaching is fun. It's just a way of communication here and fun. You normally get to play. It's nice, honestly. And then you have a lot. You are a support teacher. That means it's a whole main teacher. Although
yeah,
sometimes you are the main teacher. Most of the
yeah,
time you're the main teacher. So at the end of the day,
that's
it's
right,
just fun. So come to
yeah,
Japan as a teacher, do learn the Japanese language, then you can work
mm-hmm,
in any other place that you want to work in. The trick
yeah,
part is always the Japanese language, and which
yes,
the
that's
embassy
right,
have been offering classes. They began classes on February this year. So, and I
okay,
saw them, I think last month they introduced other classes. Once I think the first class was done, or they're introducing another different class. So you can always follow them
ah,
on Facebook. They normally update it on Facebook, the Embassy of
okay.
Japan in Kenya. So you can always follow
Oh,
whenever they
yes,
advise
that's
you for
right. I
Japanese.
did some classes with them actually also.
Yeah, so the trick part is I normally tell be someone who's smart. Don't look at the first year. The first year will be difficult, but look at
Yeah,
what you can do once you're here. You can
that's
get
right.
a whole different job, a whole different amount. There are even companies who are paying more than 300,000 in a
Oh, yeah,
month.
yeah,
They
that's
are.
true.
And then for those private schools, you always get, because in Japan, studies are normally not counted in your salary. So you normally go for extra work on Saturdays, and you can be teaching
Mm,
kids and still get extra amount of money from your own school. You can
yeah,
still do the
that's true.
part-time job like that of you're talking about in the evening once you get home. So at the end of the
Mm,
day, it just depends on a person. But for me, it's worth it. That's what I
oh,
would say. For me,
well.
it was worth it.
Oh, that's encouraging to hear. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you want to count your cost and see, is it worth it? And I think Anne, you've really just made that so nice and clear, for us. So yeah, if you're in the application process, yeah, please go ahead. Don't give up. If this is
But
the
you see,
door that God has set for you, then just
do
trust
it.
Him for it.
But you
Mm-hmm.
see, the only other thing I'll tell you, you have been abroad in so many countries, Joy. You know that. There's no country that is easy, and there's no country that is feels
Yeah,
like home. All of
that's
it, you
right.
have to learn to manage your finances. And they're
Yes,
different. You live here
yes,
today, you go somewhere tomorrow, and you find, oh, it's not what I expected. It's way worse than it was
mhm,
where I was. So at the end
that's
of the
right.
day, you have to learn to manage your finances. Just
Yes,
remember why you are in Japan or why you are in a different country. What brought
yeah,
you here? Always remember
yeah,
what brought you here. Because the problem is,
absolutely.
you
Mm,
come with people you're coming to work in the same company with, but they're coming from a country where they're coming here for fun
that's true. Yeah,
or
very
for
true.
culture exchange. Yeah, remember you're going to say, yes, I want a culture exchange and whatever, but you also remember you came for the money, but there's someone who came
Yes.
specifically for the culture exchange or to see Japan or to experience Japan
Yeah.
because there are, like right now, someone who's coming from the US, the dollar, you
Mm,
can't compare the dollar and the yen. The
yeah,
dollar,
that's true.
the yen and the Kenyan shillings is almost the same value. So just imagine the
Mm,
Kenyan shilling right now and the dollar.
yeah.
For some
Hmm.
someone who's coming from there, maybe some of them have financial muscle, so they're coming here for fun.
Yes,
So when
that's
you
right.
come here and then you meet a group of people, just remember what, because it's
Yes.
normally very discouraging. You follow a group of people to a hotel and then they
Mm.
order something,
Oh
you're
my
like, oh,
God.
I cannot do this. I can do this. And you're like,
Yes.
so remember what brought you to Japan, basically,
Yeah.
because
Hmm.
you are free to do whatever you want. You're free to live your own
Yes.
life. Once you're done with your school, nobody cares where you go. As long as you show
Yeah,
up to school the
that's
following
true.
day on time, decent and ready for the day. That's all. So
That's
it's
true.
what remember all is what brought you to Japan. That's what I would tell someone.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
worth it,
That's
yes,
very
but
true.
remember what you can come here and waste your life, and you can come here and do from the breadcrumbs that you have, you can come here and build up yourself.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
it just
I
depends on
totally
the
agree.
person. Yeah, it just depends on
Yeah.
the person.
Absolutely. I think that's very true, and what you say that I think knowing your purpose, what
Yes.
is God's purpose for you, even as you go. Because one thing I always say and believe, and also, of course, I have also experienced it, is I believe I'm a firm believer that when God sends me, wherever I go, God sends me somewhere and opens a door. That door is there's a greater purpose for me in that
Yeah.
place, and yeah, there's basically something that God wants me to achieve or to do there. So yeah, I don't want to just go and have fun and
Yeah.
forget about where I came from and forget about what God wants me to do there. I think that's very important. And you know what, and you go there and you meet friends and you say there, I also met friends from different parts, and sometimes they
Yes.
will plan trips, and I'll be like,
Yeah.
hey, I look at the cost and I'm like, no. This
But
one,
I'll
yeah,
join
it's
you
good
next
to have
time.
fun, yes, it's okay to have fun, right? And if
Yeah.
but of course you have to plan. Don't just go with the wind. It's good to plan and know what you can do and what you cannot do. Yeah, because of course the financial part is a is a very big important part to consider.
Like right now, when I talk about God's plan, I remember I was talking to my sister yesterday, and I told her
Hmm.
today I'm in Japan purposely because God used you and you're able to guide me through it.
Hmm.
Because God is a spirit. God will never do things like in a spirit form. He's gonna use people to help in your
Yes,
life.
that's right.
So out of you, like right now, two of us
Hmm.
are already in Japan, like the people we met, and the other one is coming.
Yeah.
So those are
Hmm.
seeds that you have been planted. And out of us, we are going to have other people who are coming
Yeah.
right now. Now there are people I'm helping out. They are working on their processes. You'll be able to let them
Hmm.
do this, and this, and this, and this, and this. So at the end of the day, it's a hope, it's a seed that you planted. But
Hmm.
right now it's now growing branches. And
That's right.
I was telling you when I came to Japan, the
Hmm.
language is a whole issue because yes, boy, and the only thing I knew was konnichiwa.
Yes. Oh my
Well,
gosh, language.
but guess what? God
Yes.
sent me from Zion, from the north, from the east, and everywhere.
Yeah.
When I left the airport, the people who
Uh-huh.
assisted me were three ladies who would not even understand a single word in English.
Wow.
They wrote down the instructions for me in their phone, then
Wow.
translated them. Then I took a screenshot of their phone because once you leave the airport, you don't have Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Then they asked the train master if he could show me the train to go to. They helped me
Wow.
get they helped me buy a ticket. They even asked me if they have money. If I don't have money, they're
Hmm.
offering to buy for my. I told him, no, I have here and it's okay.
Oh, wow.
So they assisted me to go to the right train, to that to
Hmm.
the train master, then to get to my train. Then I met a
Yeah.
mom and a daughter who pushed my bag to the train because
Oh,
yes, I had three bags that were heavy. So the mom
wow.
and the daughter took me to the train and they told me before she was leaving the train, before
Hmm.
she exited the train, she told me you need to count two more stops, then you leave the train. There was an
Yeah.
older man who was just there.
Hmm.
And she had
Wow.
the mom tell me because the mom told me in Japanese because she did not understand English. But you
Yeah.
could say two. You see, because she's doing two, you can tell it's two. So
Yeah.
once we got there, the old man told me, now you can leave. In Japan, you use a lot of gestures because language is
Yeah.
an issue. Yeah, that's why I
That's
talk a lot
true.
with my hands. In class, I'm always talking with hands. So so they told me like, now you can leave. So
Uh,
that's when I left the train. And from
okay.
there, I found another person who assisted me to buy an Icoca card. And their mom, to buy an Icoca card to load it and also got me to the next train.
Yeah.
Once I left that train, a couple asked me, where are you going to? They pushed my bags to the wrong hotel. We went to the wrong hotel. They stopped everything they do. They pushed me to
Oh
my
my
bags. We went to
gosh.
the wrong hotel. Then once
Yeah.
we got to the hotel, I was like, you see the way I'm so sorry for taking too much of your time. You're not even understanding each other, but I'm so sorry
Yeah.
for taking too much of your time. Now we are in the hotel. I'll be okay. Then
Yeah.
they take me to the hotel. They insist to take me inside the hotel. And then
Mm.
the receptionist told them, no, this is not the right hotel. We need to go to a different hotel.
Oh my gosh.
So
Wow.
if they left me at that particular point with no, I never knew how to use Google Map because I never used
Mm.
Google Map before I left Kenya. So you have
Yes.
Google Map, no internet, no Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
no nothing. What would you do?
Hmm.
They have given you a map, like you see the map they normally give to tourists. You have
Yeah.
never used a map in your whole life.
Oh my
And then you never
gosh.
attended the geography class, so you don't even know, remember anything about
My
maps.
goodness. Yeah.
So God used them. They took me to the right hotel. They ensured I had my room key. They ensured I had everything I needed. Then they asked me now. They told me just sayonara. And I
Mm.
was like, wow. God, I normally tell people that God ordained, God sent people
Yes.
from every station. I never got stuck anywhere. I will lie.
Mm.
I never got stuck in. And each
Mm.
time I have looked for help from Japan, God has always sent someone. You're someone
Mm.
like, hey, sumimasen, hey, Nihongo, government, Nihongo toto. So you're saying
Mm.
like, sorry, the Japanese is way low, but I want to go to this place. Or you just translate for them on your phone.
Yes.
They normally leave whatever they are doing and try to
Yeah.
take you wherever you're going. So
Hmm.
if it's, and my mom letting me go could be the hardest thing. But I
Yeah.
remember I told her, Mom, I want to leave, but I want you
Mm.
to pray first. Ask God if it's okay.
Yes.
If He says no, I
Mm.
won't go.
Yeah.
But guess what? God said yes. So basically, involve God in the whole process. It will be very
Yeah.
easy for you because you need a lot of God.
That's true.
And then
I
once you come here,
absolutely.
once you get here, normally know you won't have a lot of friends. There are no
Yeah.
friends.
That's true. Yeah.
You don't have friends. So
Yeah.
you
Language barrier
unless
and everything. Yes.
language barrier, you also look
Yeah.
different. So number one,
Yes.
Japanese people are very shy. So they're gonna, and then
Mm.
there are some people you look like a giant because the Japanese people are normally small.
Yeah.
Some of
They're
them
short and small.
they're short and small. So to someone you're like a whole giant. Then they have never
Hmm.
seen someone who looks like you because there are not so many black people. So they have
Yeah.
some of them have never seen genuinely have never seen someone who looks like you.
Yeah.
But Osaka is very
That's
nice.
right.
Osaka, I've gone to Tokyo, but I love Osaka because of Osaka, no one literally cares. Osaka, they are
That's
very
true.
much okay with people who look whatever. They are very okay. But in
Mm.
Japan, they're not racist. As long as you're a
Yeah.
foreigner,
That's a
no,
good
you're a
thing.
foreigner. A foreigner is a foreigner, whether you're from the US, whether from where you're a foreigner is a foreigner. So what I'll tell
Mm.
someone, it's worthy it, come over, it's fun. Like I was telling my
Yes.
friend today, I went to Kobe
Hmm.
and I went with some friends, and I was
Yeah.
telling them today, I have lived in a month since I for the summer vacation, I have gone
Hmm.
to places that are near because I always go and come back to my house. It's not like so far.
Yeah.
And then some of them they don't even charge. Like today I yesterday went to a zoo and it was 600 yen. And I was like, okay, they're all the animals and it's 600 yen.
Yes.
I was
That's
like,
right.
yeah, there are places you can go and have fun and come back, and they're very fun. I was telling them I normally enjoy my classes too much. The classes are always fun.
Mm.
And then I have visited places. I have lived within these
Yeah.
months and have lived in Kenya for years. I mean,
Hmm.
being happy. I don't mean like living, like sleeping or whatever. I mean, being happy, just being yourself, being
Yes.
happy. And so it's worth it because number one,
Oh,
here you're going to have time and you're going to have the resources
yes.
to do the few things that you want to
Hmm.
do.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
it's worth it. Yeah.
Oh, I think that's very encouraging and to know that and to just encourage somebody. Yeah, if you're in the process, go for it. It's totally worth it. Japan is beautiful. You're
Yeah.
going to love it. And you know what? You never know which other door God is going to open after
That's gonna
Japan. So
open. Yeah.
that's it. So, Anne, thank you so much for coming today. I
Pamela
think
is
this was,
asking,
oh,
Pamela is
yes.
asking,
Oh, yes.
sorry,
Yeah.
Pamela is, a-
Mhm.
Pamela is asking, we interact, do you move around schools a lot? So allow me to
Yeah.
answer that. I think that's,
Oh, yes, please.
yeah. So
Okay.
with
Oh, yeah. I
interact,
just saw
number
that.
one, it depends with the how many English lessons the school has. So there are
Mm-hmm.
people who go to two schools and that's it. There are people who go to three schools and that's it. They have like two schools like the whole term or the whole semester. But
Yes.
like for me, I move a lot because I teach special needs schools. I remember
Mm-hmm.
when I came here and I had a lot of free time. I remember asking, what can I do? You told me you can take some courses online. Yes, and I'm always that kind of a girl. So I did a special needs course.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I normally teach special needs students, and some of schools normally have like two English lessons in a whole term. So basically, you cannot
Wow.
be working like 2 days in the whole term.
Yes.
So for me, I teach so many different schools because I'm in special
Mm.
needs schools. There are some
Yeah.
I go regularly, like every week I have to be there. There's some I have seen them once in the whole term. There's some I have
Mm.
seen twice. So it depends. Basically, it
Okay.
depends on the type of school you'll be teaching. There are places you just go and stay in one school or two schools. Yeah. Or if you're
Okay.
like me, you move. And the moving is nice because you get, right now, I know the most parts of Osaka.
Oh, that's wonderful. I think
Yeah.
that's nice. I think that's, yeah, I think that's how most of the companies operate,
Yeah.
because they work with different schools. So you basically be given a schedule for where the schools that you need to go to. Anyway,
Yeah.
guys, we've come to the end of this live, and I wanted to just say thank you so much to Anne. You have really
Oh,
shared important
there's one
things that,
last question. Sorry, there's one
oh,
last
yeah,
question.
Sally.
I keep cutting you short from Sally.
Yeah,
Sally
that's
was born.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, and
Okay.
there's another one.
There's
Okay.
another one.
All right,
So
let's get
Sally,
there. Let's answer the questions.
do you get an automatic employment contract renewal? Oh no, they just renew your contract. As long as you're working with them, they
Mm,
just gonna renew your contract. They
yes.
will ask you. They normally, even right now, they asked us before summer. I
Mm-hmm.
think around July, the beginning of July, they asked us if you'll be continuing with them on September.
Yeah,
So they normally ask you. So like right
that's
now,
right.
but I know by January they'll be asking you if you'll be continuing in them so that you can start renewing your visa and all that. So they automatically, you don't, unless you really misbehave, which they're gonna
Yeah.
tell you like right now, no, we cannot work with you anymore. But as long as you do
Yes,
your job, literally you can always get a renewal.
that's right. And then we have
Okay.
Glant.
Grant is asking which special needs course did you do? I remember the name. It's just called special needs education. That's what the name of the course.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. In case I respond to the comment once I'm very sure about it. It's just an
All right.
online.
Actually, yeah, you can actually send me the link of the course, and I can put
Yeah.
it on this live, and you can go and check it out.
But
So yeah,
again,
I think
but
that's
again, it opens you up to a whole new ideas. Like right now, I was telling you, I teach
yes.
at their school. I'm learning ASL. I can
Mhm.
say my name
Oh.
is Anne. So at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I like black. All
Uh-huh.
right. So at the end of the day, being in
Yes.
I always wanted to learn ASL, but I never learned because I could have learned the Kenyan
Oh.
sign language. And then when I went to the
Yeah.
university, I went to the KU and they told me they wouldn't consider it when I'll be doing masters. And I was like, no, then there's no point of learning
Oh.
it if you don't consider it when I was be doing my master's education.
Okay.
Anyway, God knew I'm gonna be here. So at the end of the day, it's
Yes.
gonna open you
That's
to
right.
so many things. Like right now, I'm
Yeah.
looking for a way of learning a certificate of ASL and learning ASL better. So it's gonna
Mm.
open up to a lot of opportunities. It's
Opportunities.
a leap of
Yes.
faith. So now back to you,
Absolutely.
Joy. Now I think we have answered all
Yeah,
the questions.
absolutely. Yeah, I think that's really good to know, because you know what? Learning never stops, and learning always opens doors for us. And yeah, if you go to Japan and there's an opportunity to learn and do something better that will probably add value to your career and experience, I think that's wonderful. I just wanted to say thank you guys for coming to this live. Please
Yeah.
leave your questions if you have more questions, or if you watch this video later. Just leave your question and we'll do our best to get back to you and answer you. And guys, we just want to wish you all the best. And as we finish, I just want to do something today. I'm going to ask Anne to pray for all the
Okay.
people who are in the process of the application. Just pray for God's goodness and God's grace,
Okay.
and for success, because I know there are people who have been applying and reapplying and trusting God
Yeah.
for this. So we're going to pray for you today, and send you with God's blessings.
Okay.
Okay.
Before you pray, I have one question though. Like, how are you
Oh,
surviving this summer and you're not even hydrating and you're still looking this now?
well, okay. Let me tell you something very different about Canada and Japan is
Yeah.
the way the houses are built here in in Canada. Well, that's one thing I really, because Japan, I was basically sweating and I would sleep with the AC on. And I would
Like
also
mine
sit
is
with a
on right
fan
now.
next to my face because and ice packs. Where?
The
But
humidity.
yeah, but it's the way the houses are built in Japan because
Yeah.
here the AC just is within the house and just keeps the house cool. Of course, when I go outside, it's very different. But the way the houses are built here, they're built. Okay, Canada is really cold in the winter, so
Yeah.
but they build the houses to keep them. And then the winter, it's also warm inside the house because they built the house in a way that the AC works very well and the heat works well. But Japan, wait for the winter. They called it they called
Like
it
today,
Japan.
like
I
like
used to sleep
today,
like I'm
it
going
was
to the moon.
raining. Like today it was raining the whole day, raining. So
Yeah.
there was no sunlight at all. But the heat, you're like, oh God, the humidity level
And
is
the
so high. You're like,
I
it is
know, and
still
the
worse.
humidity.
So like, no, 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 no. But again, it's for good for experiences. Now I'm learning about Canada. What if we never went to Canada? So
Oh,
I'm learning about Canada from a
that's right.
trusted source. From a trusted source. That's the difference.
Yeah,
So anyway,
that's very true. And actually, Anne, Osaka, because I came to Osaka last year, August,
yeah,
to the what do they call the what do they call it? The one that we were talking about, you were supposed to go there. Universal Studio. I came to
Universal
Universal
Studio.
Studio. Hey,
Yeah,
Manze, I basically see someone faint because
yeah,
of the heat, and I
yeah.
was like,
The heat
"Where?
strokes are real. Heat strokes
Yeah,
are not nice.
heat strokes
That's
are
why you
real, by
see.
the way."
That's why you see. I gotta like this
Yes.
bottle. I normally like. I think this is the bad one.
Yeah, that's very true because and Osaka is actually better. Where I was in Toki City, that's
Yeah.
where it's actually the hottest part of Japan. So that was really, but you know what? We survived, we adjust, and we
No,
continue.
no, no. It's actually the look at my skin. My skin is doing very well. So I would say as
Yeah,
much as the heat is there. And then
yes.
someone was telling me, I met a Kenyan person and I was asking, "Hey, your baby's hair, like the both parents are Kenyan." And I was asking, "Hey, your baby's hair is long, they're long." They're telling me,
Oh,
oh, the humidity actually makes the hair grow longer
oh, that's
because of the
nice.
moisture. So it normally helps in hair growth for some reason. So you
Oh,
see,
that's
there's some benefits.
there are benefits. That's very true because my hair really did grow in Japan. My hair
Yeah.
really just, yeah, it was so good.
Okay. Now
All
we can
right.
close our eyes and pray.
Yes, please.
Our Lord and our God, we are grateful for this session that we have had. Thank you for the wisdom. Thank you for the knowledge. And also thank you for the understanding that you have given to us, oh God. Lord, there are people who are embarking on the process of job application. I pray that you may give them hope. I pray that you may give them favor. I pray that you may give them wisdom, even as they prepare for the jobs, oh God. There are people who have tried again and they have faced a bit of rejection, God. I pray that you may strengthen their hearts and I pray that your favor going to land them in the jobs that you want them to do, oh God. I pray that, Lord, that you're going to pave a way, make a way for all of us, for all of them, Jehovah, Lord, and you're going to land them in the places that you want them to be for the glory and
Yes.
the honor of your name, oh God. I pray for people who are trusting you for finances, oh Lord. I pray that you may
Mhm.
send help for them, Jehovah, Lord. I pray for people who are like, yes, I want to do it, but I don't know where to start or I don't know what to do. I pray that, God, that you may be able to encourage their hearts, that you may be able to provide the assistance that each person needs. I pray for the parents who are not having an easy time thinking of the child going abroad, Lord. I pray that, Lord, that you may help their hearts understand, Lord, and create a bond of love that Jehovah, Lord, that's gonna be there
Yes.
even once we leave. I pray that you may bound us with love, the cause of love that cannot be shaken. And I pray for someone who's going through a hard time right now, for someone who's going through a depressing time, for someone who just lost their jobs back in home and they're asking how we're gonna do it. I pray that, Lord, that you're gonna heal our hearts and heal our minds, O Lord. You who does abundantly, exceedingly above what we can ask in your name, we give you thanks in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Oh, thank you.
Amen.
That's a powerful prayer, Anne. And we send that prayer to everybody who's in the process. And we pray for God's favor and God's blessings to you all. Anne, May God bless you
Yeah.
so much for coming to this live, and thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
everything you've
much.
shared.
Thank you
And
so
you know what?
much.
I
Yeah.
actually I just want to wish all, my followers the best. And you know
Yeah.
what? Some of you are in the application process and you've been there so many times. Some have tried
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they haven't succeeded. Some have tried two, three times and succeeded. But guys, the most important thing is don't give up. I wish
Mhm.
we could help everybody with their application process. But
There's
guys,
one
if you have any
person.
question, feel
There's
free
one
to ask.
person I can't wait for her to come to this live and say people not giving up. I can't wait for.
Uh, that's
Yeah, if I don't need to give up, I just go and call her and tell her, guess what? It's this and this is working. She said, no, go, go.
that's wonderful. And that's the thing, guys. It's the thing is don't give up. Where there's a will,
Yeah.
there's a way. All right, people. And I know it's 2 a.m. there, and thank you so much
Yeah.
for your time. We really
Thank you
appreciate.
so
And
much.
guys, Annie's in the diaspora teachers group, so please join.
Yeah,
And if you have any
please join
question,
in.
ask Anne there, and she'll do her best to answer you. Okay.
Yes,
So thank
you
you
can
so
always
much,
ask.
good people, and I
You
hope
can
you
always
have
ask any questions, and please let's watch
yeah,
in case you have questions regarding the process, please first
yeah,
watch the first video, then you can be able to guide you from there. And for people who are
yes,
doing it, we are really proud of you. And the only last thing I'll tell someone, please
yeah.
handle one challenge at a time. Don't handle all the challenges at the same time. They're gonna discourage you.
That's right.
It's about
Yes,
your application, deal with your application. Once you get the
yeah,
job,
that's
deal with
right.
the other challenges that comes through. Don't think about, no, when I get a job, I don't have the money, I don't have this and this and this, I don't have, deal with the
Yeah,
application first. I have the passport, I have the things that I need, apply for the job. Pass the interview, now deal with the other challenges. Because
yeah, that's right.
I'm telling you this because I have encountered it with someone who is very close to me, and they're dealing
Hmm.
with all of it together and they're getting discouraged. So please,
Yeah,
one challenge at a time.
yes,
So,
absolutely.
so thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, now it's 12.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your summer, and I hope we are going to have you again if people, have more questions for you in the future.
Yeah,
But
I'm
thank you
always
so much.
available. I'm
That's
always
right. And
available. And
yeah,
then
and we wish you
one
the
one
best.
video you need to redo, video that you need to
Yes.
redo for
Uh-huh.
you the the what to pack, the packing video. You need to redo that one.
Okay. I'm going to
You
redo
need to
that. Well, let's talk about that, and you can give me some of the things about the parking, please.
no, that's what we're
You
waiting
sure?
for you to do. Because the packing
Okay.
one needs an update.
It is an update for sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was on a light note.
Thank you, Sawa Sawa. All right. Thank you so much, my dear. And God bless you and bless
God
the work
bless
of your hands.
you.
And God
Yeah.
bless you all of you guys who came to this live. And I wish you all the best. And let's meet here again next week. And I'll let you know what we'll talk about next week anyway. So
With a
good night,
very interesting
everybody.
video.
Yeah, see you in my next video. Okay, bye
Bye
for now.
bye.
Okay, thank you, Anne.
Anytime.
Okay. Okay, I'm trying to end this live, but it's not ending. What's happening? Uh, okay. Okay, my husband just came home and I'm trying to end my life, but it's not ending. So I don't know what to do. This is so funny. Okay, I need to end it. So, okay, this live wants me to continue. I don't know what's happening with my phone. Okay, this is so interesting. Hey, okay, let me try wipe my hands. Can you imagine? This is